You ever thought, what if I try again and fail once more? That's one of the most silent and most destructive questions of adult life. Because behind it lies something no one likes to admit, the fear of making another mistake. And when that fear isn't faced, it becomes the greatest thief of dreams a person in their 40s, 50s, or 60s can carry. You look back and remember all the times you believed in a business, a partnership, an investment, in love. But things didn't turn out the way you imagined. The bank account shrank, and so did your confidence. Now, every time a new opportunity appears, your heart races, not with excitement, but with hesitation. It's as if your mind whispers, "Be careful, you've been hurt before." And so time passes, and fear, disguised as prudence, starts building invisible walls around your financial life. But the truth is simple. You're not afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of feeling the pain that the last one caused. And the stronger that pain was, the more your brain associates risk with suffering. From a psychological perspective, the fear of failing again is a self-protection mechanism. The brain isn't programmed to seek success. It's programmed to avoid pain. But that protection comes at a cost. It keeps you from growing, from prospering, and from achieving financial freedom after 40. Studies on neuroplasticity show that the brain can be reprogrammed. In other words, just as it once learned to fear, it can also learn to try again. And that's where the process of emotional healing and prosperity after 40 begins, when you finally understand that mistakes don't define you, they teach you. You may have heard of Hawkins's scale. It's a chart that measures the vibrational frequency of human emotions, linking each one to a specific level of consciousness and energy. The idea is that every emotion vibrates differently, and the higher the frequency, the closer it is to true awareness, love, and power. On that scale, fear vibrates at a low frequency. It's an energy that paralyzes. But courage is the turning point. It's the bridge between fear and action. While fear leads to stagnation, courage leads to true personal power. While fear says, "Don't go," courage whispers, "Go carefully, but go." And it's in that crossing that true financial growth after 40 begins. Because to prosper isn't just about earning more. It's about freeing your mind from the blocks that stop the flow of abundance. The fear of failure is expensive. It costs opportunities, relationships, energy, and even health. It convinces you that stability is safer than movement. But stability without purpose is only a disguised form of stagnation. And no one achieves financial independence in maturity by obeying fear. The good news is, courage can be trained. Neuroscience shows that every time we face something we fear, even in small doses, the brain creates new connections. In other words, courage is practice. No one is born brave. People become brave. Courage means moving forward even while trembling. It's about using mistakes as a school, not as a sentence. Take the case of Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks. He was rejected by 217 investors before anyone believed in his idea. But he didn't give up. Not because he wasn't afraid, but because he decided fear wouldn't have the final word. The same happened with J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers before creating the Harry Potter empire. Or with Vera Wang, who began her career as a designer after 40, after failing at everything she had tried before. They weren't fearless, they were determined. And it's that decision, the decision to try again, that changes destinies. So if your mature financial life feels stuck, maybe the problem isn't a lack of knowledge, but an excess of fear. Fear of starting over, fear of being seen, fear of losing again. A fear that disguises itself in phrases like, "I'm too old for that. It's better not to take the risk. Now's not the time." But what if this very "not now" is the perfect time? What if the real mistake is continuing to avoid making one? Think about it. How many opportunities have you let pass just to avoid feeling disappointment? How many courses have you postponed? How many ideas have you shelved? And what if every missed attempt was the very step you needed to reach wealth in maturity? Life doesn't punish those who fail. It punishes those who stop trying. Here's a simple exercise. Take a sheet of paper and list 3 mistakes you've made, along with what each one taught you. Then ask yourself, do these mistakes paralyze me or prepare me? You'll realize that every stumble left behind a map showing not what to avoid, but what to improve. Courage is born from awareness. And awareness means understanding that you're no longer the same person who made those mistakes. Today, you have experience, emotional maturity, and discernment. You already know what works and what doesn't. That's why the prosperity plan for those over 40 is more solid. Less haste, more strategy. Less impulse, more wisdom. You no longer need luck. You need clarity and confidence. And these are the foundations of building wealth after 40. In spirituality, fear is the absence of faith. But faith isn't believing that everything will work out. It's believing that even if things go wrong, you'll know how to handle it. Once you understand that, fear loses its power. Because mistakes stop being failures and become rehearsals. And success, in the end, is nothing more than the sum of rehearsals sustained by faith. Abundance after 40 doesn't come to those who avoid mistakes. It comes to those who transform mistakes into wisdom. Every attempt is a seed, and those who plant enough inevitably harvest. Finding the courage to try again is the first step of your new cycle of prosperity. It's the moment when you stop being a spectator and become the author of your own financial story once again. Look back at your journey. Everything you've already overcome is proof of your strength. What brought you here wasn't luck, it was resilience. And prosperity is exactly that. The sum of everything you've learned, combined with the willingness to keep going. Starting over is not going backward. It's maturing with purpose. It's understanding that the past didn't punish you, it prepared you, and that every mistake was just a necessary page in your story of overcoming. If fear still visits you, say to it, "Thank you for trying to protect me. But now it's time to grow." And move forward, calmly, with method, with faith, and with action. Because prospering after 40 isn't about running, it's about walking consciously. It's about turning scars into wisdom and losses into power. It's about learning to trust again. Financial life after 40 isn't solved with spreadsheets, but with emotional courage. When you heal fear, money begins to flow. When you forgive the past, the future opens. And when you try again, with faith and strategy, prosperity responds. Starting over is courage, not failure. To err is human, but to persist with awareness is divine. And the prosperity after 40 you're searching for, it isn't in the past that hurt you, but in the future that's waiting for you. Everything you need is already within you. Now it's time to take the next step. And that next step is to try again. If you believe you deserve more in your financial life, the link below in the first comment is for you. So, did you like this video? Then help us out. Like, comment, share, and turn on the bell after subscribing to the channel.